Welcome to Travs Talk for this week. I'm your host, Stephen Davis. Travs Talk is presented by AT&T, a proud partner of the Arkansas Travelers. We are joined this week by a man who has a big part in the game day experience at Dickey-Stephens Park for Travs home games. We are all missing those this summer, but we are joined by our organist, Trey Trimble, the man who tickles the keys and plays that great music over the PA system. Trey, thanks for taking some time for us. It's great to see you. I'm sorry we're not seeing you every night at the ballpark, but thank you for some time today.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate this.
All right, Trey, here on Travs Talk, we do 9 innings, 9 questions, 9 topics. Are you ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
All right, first inning. Hey, since we're all having the ballpark deficiency this summer, not getting out to DSP, not watching games, not hearing you on the organ, could you open us up with the opening song you play when the gates first open at the ballpark? Could you play that opening song for us, please?
I would be glad to play that. Give me 1 second.
Oh, that's awesome, Trey. So the way we're working this, folks, we've got the interview going, and Trey went out to the ballpark and recorded some songs for us. It is great stuff. It is so awesome, Trey, to hear you playing that organ again and hear that familiar sound. What is that song that you open with when the gates first open and people come into the ballpark? What is it?
That is a song called Remembering You. The lyrics were written by Carol O'Connor, who played Archie Bunker on All in the Family, and that was the closing theme to All in the Family. Written by Rob Kellaway, I believe is his name, but I felt like it fit the ballpark, and so I've opened that ever since I played the organist. When the gates open, that's the song I play, and it just has a nostalgic feel, kind of family-esque, remembering you. It's, if you look up the lyrics, it's nice lyrics. It really is written well.
It fits. It's a family feel at the ballpark. It's a comforting song, a comforting feel, and you feel like you're among the Travs family then when the ballpark gates open about an hour before game time. Great selection.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on, second inning. You're a young guy. We can all see that. When did you first start playing piano and then organ? Were you fairly young when you took this up?
Yeah, I was about 7. The first song I even learned was Furelise, and I only learned the first part of it. I can't play the whole song, but my mom had set to the piano. She can read music. I never could. I took lessons for a month, and I never could figure out how to read music, so that didn't last long. But I kind of hummed the note that I heard and found it on the keyboard and kind of stumbled my way through it. And from then on, age 7, I've been playing by ear and just enjoy to this day. What kept it fun was learning like TV themes and like Mario, level music and stuff that I like to learn. Versus, I guess, if you went to take lessons, it would be like, okay, we're going to learn Chopin, whatever. And some kids lose interest or something, and I probably would have as a kid. Which now I love classical music. I'm all around. But back then that kept me going, just all those fun songs.
So this is crazy. You don't read music, yet you are basically a perfect pitch, it sounds like, and you're able to just hear a song and then play it. We've heard you dabble on some songs that'll be playing like on radio or recordings at the ballpark, and you'll start to play along with them. This is something you do regularly, just like pick up a tune and you can go and play it?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works.
That's amazing.
I got a couple of requests from a couple of the older people that are in the ballpark. Hey, can you play, what was one? Accentuate the Positives by Bing Crosby is one. And that's one of my favorites to play. It's a fun one. But, and I'll play that song and look for that person. If I see him, I'll play it. I got one guy I loves Stardust. And when I play it, he'll see him stand up down there and he'll tip his hat to me or whatever. And one time he danced with his wife out there on the, concourse, but it's fun.
That's awesome. I'm jealous that you've got perfect pitch and can hear a tune and go play it. That's phenomenal. All right, third inning question for you. How did you get started playing for the Travs? So you started dabbling with it as a kid, got going, and then how did you first get involved with the Travs and playing the organ at the ballpark?
Well, my mom's mom, my grandma saw a clipping in a newspaper that wasn't that big, and it said Travs Organist, looking for an organist or whatever. And she called me and told me about it, and I was like, oh, that's neat. And she was like, we're going to go try it, aren't you? I was like, I I don't think so. And she's like, no, we're gonna go try. I was like, okay. So I went, and it was a rain delay game. So they had like a movie plan, and I talked to, I think Tom was the first one I talked to, and he said, yeah, come on over, and he brought me in the organ box, which at the time was a Hammond something. I can't remember. It was a double stack keyboard, which people walk by now and see it's not the double stack keyboard, but it was there. And he said, just play, we'll be listening. I was okay. I sat there. I was like, what do I even play? I had no list. I just kind of sat there. I was like, okay, let me think. So I started playing Mario, Yoshi's Island, all this video game stuff that kind of felt boppy and organy. I was like, let's try this out. Played for about 30, 45 minutes and hadn't seen or heard anybody. I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm out of songs. So I stepped down, started looking for the familiar face I talked to when I first got there. And somebody sent me upstairs, directed me upstairs to where the box is. And so found Tommy, and I said, hey, I'm out of songs. He said, oh, okay, well, yeah, no, you got the job. You're fine. You can go home. I was like, oh, okay, thanks. Thank you, that.
Wow, that's one way to get a job. That's got to be some pressure though. A rain delay here. Just go fill the time. How old were you when this happened? How long ago was it when you started playing for the Travs? It was at the ballpark now, right? At Dickey Stevens?
Yes. I had missed the opening year of Dickey Stevens, so I think it was '08 when I first started.
So how old were you when you became the organist for the Travs?
I was 20, and I'm now 32.
Wow, 20-year-old when you got the job, and you're only 32 now. Okay, so you get the job for the first time. Your grandma made you try out. Let's move on here. Next inning. Did you even know the Travs had an organist? Were you aware this was a thing and maybe something you could do and be able to go watch a ball game every night and get to play as well? Did you know as a kid that the Travs had an organ at the ballpark?
I did. Our cousin Sean Duncan used to play for the Tulsa Drillers. He was a pitcher, left-handed pitcher, and later on went to do pitching on the pitching coach staff for Texas Rangers. But when Tulsa Drillers come into town at Ray Winder Field for the Travs, we would get tickets for the week or how long the homestand was. We'd be there every night and sat right behind the enemy's dugout. But we'd be over there, and I would remember looking up and seeing the organist, like that little light, or see a silhouette of somebody up there, and I was like, "There's an organist up there, and he looks like you can get to him." And so I remember asking my mom as a kid, I was like, "Can I see the organ?" And she was like, "Okay, I guess. Be careful." She's always, protection. So like, okay, so I went up there, and the first time I went up there and stuff, I was up there every game after that. It was Rich Ferris. I never got to hear or see Alfredo play in person, though I hear her name all the time. But it was Rich Ferris and him and his cigar or whatever he was smoking. He was just playing all Beatles tunes, everything else was going on. And at the time, there was no one playing. I mean, there was no it seemed like as a kid they had no speakers with regular music. It was all organ-based stuff because he would play the batter walk-ups and everything was him. So it was just fascinating to watch it as a kid. This is so cool because I loved organ music. I loved all that. I grew up listening to Glenn Miller, so I already loved kind of the older kind of style stuff. So being able to watch him, not knowing one day I'd be doing it, I just enjoyed it.
It's amazing how things come full circle. Okay, fifth inning for you. This is just a side gig, playing the organ at the Travs games. What's your real job that you actually do for a living full time?
I am a freelance graphic designer from home.
Hey, it sounds like a good gig. Keeps you busy, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah, it really does.
So how much time does that leave you to play? Are you dabbling on the keyboard much outside of the ballpark? Are you getting to play much this summer?
No, I wish I was. I don't have a good keyboard here. The keyboard I have here, half the keys don't work. It's like half the size. It is not fun to play. It doesn't sound good. Plastic keys, not weighted. I have like that guitar right there. I keep that right there. So when I am rendering something, I can kind of play a couple songs or do whatever, just being goofy. So I play guitar here, and I have the mandolin, and that's and the drum set. But I have that here. Piano-wise, I either go to my parents' house to play on the upright there, or at church before church service starts, they have a piano in the back room I can kind of play on, get my piano playing out of my system.
So you got to stay in practice. Okay, sixth inning. I got to ask. You mentioned a couple other instruments now, and we see the guitar there. How many instruments do you actually play?
I think it's 6. There's the bass, guitar, piano, mandolin, drums, banjo, and fiddle. Which the fiddle I kind of stopped counting because 8 years ago the bridge snapped and I never got it replaced, never fixed it, and so fiddle's something you can't just take 8 years off and get back on it like it was nothing.
Well, and we might have to find out. We might need to get you a fiddle. Do you consider piano and organ two separate instruments, or are they just two versions of the same?
They're that's a good question. They're super similar because the keys and all that. The tricky part for me would just be the bass done with the feet and the volume pedal. That's the whole other ball game aspect of an organ versus the keys for me. That and learning the draw bars and where you want your settings at, and occasionally hitting the Leslie switch.
Sounds pretty complicated. All right, seventh inning. So you're a big-time musician, graphic designer, but you're at the ballpark every night. You get to watch every Travs home game and have now for a dozen years. Are you a big baseball fan? Do you like watching every pitch of every game at the ballpark?
I do. I played baseball 9 years, city league. I was homeschooled, so wasn't in like the school league or anything, but played Babe Ruth league on up and stuff. So I've enjoyed that. And while playing baseball, I played softball with my dad and his postal worker friends. Every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., we'd play softball, just pick up games. So I already loved it. We went to the Rangers every year, St. Louis sometimes, and all that. So I grew up loving it. And so doing this, it's like perfect. I love it. Got a great view. You get to watch a game every night. And baseball, the people are there. I love it. I missed it this year.
You might have the best seat in the house right there on the concourse. So, big baseball fan. Who's your favorite Travs player of all time?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Put you on the
That's a
spot.
good question. Yeah, you really do. Let's see. I was a Trumbo fan. He was fun to watch. Hank Conger was a lot of fun. I also like Nate Sutton. He was good. Yeah, I mean, I could say Mike Trout, but that's an obvious statement. He was fun to watch.
Pretty good collection of guys there, though. Pretty good collection. Okay, eighth inning. I'm going to put you on the spot again, this time on the keyboard. You play a lot of different songs. Pre-game, you've got a medley you usually go to. You play different songs between innings or when batters are trying to at the plate and you're trying to get the crowd going a little bit. You've got a wide collection of things you play at the ballpark. I want you to play for us your favorite song that you play at the ballpark. Can you do that for us?
Yes, I will do that.
All right, here it is. Trey's favorite song he plays at the ballpark. Okay, Trey, tell us, what is it that you enjoy playing at the ballpark? What was that?
That was Undecided by Ella Fitzgerald.
Awesome, man. You'll play that pregame sometimes, I think, if I remember correctly.
I will. There's an usher, which I don't know. I think he told me last year was because it was going to be his last year, but his name is Jack, and I loved him. He would usher the lower concourse right to the staircase to my right down, and he would Undecided, accentuate the positives, a couple of those. I would see him. He'd be getting down there doing his dancing. He would occasionally dance with the usher to his ride. So they're just having a blast. I loved it. Certain songs, and that was one of them he liked a lot.
Awesome. One of the great traditions at Dickey Stevens. Okay, ninth inning. We got to wrap things up in style. Mentioned we've had a ballpark and baseball deficiency this summer with the Travs with no games. Can you play Take Me Out to the Ball Game for us just one time so we can hear it on that great organ? How did you learn Take Me Out to the Ball Game? Was that one you learned way back, or is that one you had to pick up and start playing once you got the job?
That's kind of funny. I didn't know how to play it. I got the job for the Travs in Oregon, and for the first half a season, it wasn't played. all right, 7th inning stretch, everybody stand up. And then, like, that was it. The radio guy opened a window and just sang it. And then I always wondered, like, how come am I not supposed to play that? So I asked Tommy at one point, I was like, is there a reason that I don't play that? And he said, well, can you play it? And I said, I think so. He said, oh, well, you never had an organist that could play it, or at least the last organist, couldn't play it. And so, oh, okay, so yeah, play it. So I went home that night and tried to stumble through, and like, okay, I think I can do this. Next game, I played it, and then from then on, I played it.
Incredible. Picked it up in one night. Well, how about this? You keep playing it at the 7th inning stretch. I wasn't the radio guy then. No more singing by the radio guy. That tradition is.
Come on, Steven.
Nobody wants to hear me sing. We'll just sing along with you. I will not grab a microphone. We'll let you be the star, Trey.
Gotta keep your window shut, huh?
Yeah, well, I'll lean out and wave to some people maybe if they want to wave, but I will not sing into a microphone. We'll let you be the star. 7th inning
One
stretch.
of these days.
I don't think so. I don't think that's in my job description. That's not going to happen. Trey, thanks for the time. I want to say we are extremely lucky to have you. You're really talented. I think folks have gotten a hint of that hearing you. Hopefully they've learned more today, that the fact you can just hear a melody, sit down and learn it in a couple hours for a new song is phenomenal. And obviously ballparks, you mentioned the old ballpark didn't have necessarily a speaker system that played recorded music. It was just the organ. That's how it used to be at every ballpark. And I think we're probably down now in the entire United States, counting the major leagues, down to maybe 5 ballparks or less that have an actual organ and organist on hand at every game. The Dodgers and White Sox are known for it, and obviously we are as well with the Travs. We are blessed to have you, Trey, and as young as you are, hopefully we can keep that tradition going for many, many years. So thanks for the time, and thanks for what you do to make Dickey-Stephens Park what it is on a nightly basis.
I appreciate it, Steven. It's a blessing to have that job. I love it, and I'm still enjoying it. So I appreciate y'all having me.
Great stuff. Trey Trimble, the organist for the Travs. That's Travs Talk for this week, presented by AT&T, a proud partner of the Arkansas Travelers. We'll see you next week.